Hello everyone, this is Sayer G, founder of GreenMedInfo, and I just want to do a video here today to show you guys what we have done at GreenMedInfo to make the site completely ad-free, as well as to show you some of the new features we've been working on. Now, many of you who've been on our list or have followed us for a while know that GreenMedInfo aims to be the largest resource on the internet for evidence-based natural medicine. And so how did we go about making that mission a reality? First of all, we created a database that now contains 10,000 health topics. And if you've been, getting our emails for a while, you may have noticed that we mentioned we have a new search function, which we adopted from Twitter's open access architecture. And so right now, if I just type in, say, a letter like A, or I'm looking for a more specific topic like ACE for Acerella, you will now see an immediate pulling up of the different databases. Now keep in mind we have 10,000 of them, and we're excited about this because many of us use GreenMedInfo for articles. It's a big part of what we do. In fact, you can go up here and look at our most popular ones over the years. You can see that we actually have a lot of content that's been shared, high volume. This particular article I wrote years ago, because I wanted to communicate some of the exciting findings about regenerative foods and ways that you could theoretically support liver regeneration, beta cell regeneration. And, it's been pretty amazing, this journey, because GreenMedInfo was never intended to be a, quote, blogging platform, but it was because of writing and translating articles from the primary literature level that we ended up getting so much feedback and we started to get a lot of traffic to the website. So I am really excited to show you guys the heart and soul of GreenMedInfo, which is the search function. And it helps you to understand. Let's go to our favorite page here, turmeric, just how much work has been done on the back end to make possible a really powerful argument for using natural compounds for prevention and treatment versus synthetic ones. Now, of course, it's against the law, literally against the law, for anyone to state that a supplement, for example, can treat or prevent a disease. That's because it doesn't have FDA drug approval. And of course, it's sort of a contradiction, isn't it? Because, turmeric isn't a drug. But that's what's required to legally utilize something which is, of course, extremely accessible, affordable, safe, and effective based on really thousands of years of cross-culturally confirmed use by humans, which is such a powerful fact because our present-day survivability as a species over eons of trial and error, consuming or not consuming particular foods. If you ate a red berry that was poisonous, and you didn't know much about it, you just tried it, it's possible that it could kill you. So, that particular data point would have, been translated, into the community of your, your contemporaries as not a good thing to eat, and would have been passed down culturally. Now, another red berry might actually prevent a scourge of a particular, let's say, opportunistic germ or virus taking over your community. Those who ate these other red berries might have been protected. So this is how an ancient body of knowledge got passed down over eons. But, we came into a very, very different transition with the age of biomedicine and the evidence-based medical model, which basically threw out everything, all the knowledge, all the oral tradition knowledge, got thrown out the window, just so that they could propose a new epistemology, a new method of knowing what is true. And that would be, of course, that you need double-blind, randomized, hopefully, multi-center, placebo-controlled trials to determine if something is or is not beneficial. And ostensibly, right, because this is like a Napoleonic law construct, anything that's not explicitly cleared or validated would be considered non-valid. And even the opposite would be considered absolutely dangerous to use. And so that's where we are today, is that we believe as a culture generally that natural substances are dangerous and that patented chemicals are the ones that are safe and effective to utilize. So everyone has been generally brainwashed and pickled by this like obscene, inaccurate perspective. Their brains are literally pickled by this. And that's what GreenMed Info is. It's a vast antidote, because when you go to a page like this and you see 2,500 abstracts across 830 diseases, documenting 268 different distinct pharmacological actions. Like we have 241 studies just on the NF-kappa B inhibitor activity of turmeric. These are conventional pharmacological pathways that drug approval often hinges on. We have very specific ways of understanding how turmeric can articulate healing responses throughout the body. This is pretty vast, the data here. So, of course, on the right side of all our database pages, and this is only one of 10,000 of them, actually over 10,000, you have translational articles. Over the years, we've spent literally months writing articles to try to translate some of the more compelling data here in the center. And that's so that people don't have to slog through thousands of abstracts in an attempt to understand what the value of this may be. And we believe strongly in the informed consent model. We're not here to tell you turmeric is going to cure your cancer. That's not what we're saying. We're just basically giving the research an opportunity to express itself algorithmically. And what I mean by that is you have 2,500 abstracts here on this page. That's too much data. So what we did is we created a set of enhanced features that enable you to focus research in a very specific way. I'm just going to log in really quick here to show you, in case you don't already know, that this is the back end of GreenMed Info that we developed really to empower natural health practitioners and really serious natural health advocates so that they have at their disposal massive amounts of research. So let's say that you are someone who is dealing with breast cancer and you want to know what research on turmeric supports its use potentially. And so what you do is you just click the focus part, and here you have now 94 abstracts on curcumin, turmeric, the various compounds in turmeric having anti-breast cancer activity. And we've created two useful functions here, that the members that elect to support our mission by becoming members have. And so if I go to share your focused research online, you now have a publicly indexable page, which is actually mobile optimized as well. So if you're on your smartphone, your iPads, it's going to come up nicely. And this enables you to go ahead and tweet it out to the world or to share it in an email. You could link to this in a blog, copy paste the URL or email, and therefore now you have very powerful evidence-based statement that is backed up by very specific research citations that enable us to move, the entire discussion forward. Now, this is sourced from the U.S. National Library of Medicine. And actually, when you look at the abstracts, each one links to the direct citation location on Medline, via pubmed.gov. So then we have a sort of higher gravitas source than it just simply saying, oh, turmeric is good for this or that, and reference WebMD or whatever. This is actually going to the primary literature level, which is why we've spent years doing this. This took a lot of my time. In fact, this one page, I think I've said in previous videos, took me probably 5 to 6 months of just nonstop indexing. I looked through probably over 10,000 abstracts at this point. I mean, who would have known? 17 studies on HIV, anti-HIV activity of turmeric. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Now, of course, a lot of these studies are cell and or animal, and they get lost because in the evidence-based medical model, it's constructed like a pyramid, and only the topmost, RCTs, randomized controlled trials, are considered to be conveyors of truth. This elixir of truth only comes through the top. And of course, as people know, politically speaking, there's a huge publication bias because you don't have to legally publish null or negative results on any topic. So when it comes to pharmaceuticals, that's basically what happens is they may do 20 different studies, and one of them shows a relative risk reduction, maybe say taking aspirin or something like that. And they'll focus on that language, and they will disingenuously use colloquial interpretations of it to say, oh, 50% reduction in mortality, when in fact, it may have only shown 1 in 1,000 people saw a reduction, in cardiovascular disease risk. And of course, they're not controlling for the near infinite number of other variables that may have been at play, nor did they necessarily track all-cause mortality. So they're looking at one factor like, or endpoint like cardiovascular disease mortality when the all-cause mortality was more significant. Would have shown the aspirin actually increased the risk of death, even though it may have reduced a heart attack. So this is just how the game works. And so what we're doing here, again, is we're trying to provide everyone with a resource they can use to focus, specific topics in such a way that it's bulletproof. Let's say you're a chiropractor, and let's go to this page. This is one of my favorite examples. And you're looking at statins. Well, I'm very proud of this page because I feel like it may actually save someone's life in the future to know that there's 349 different adverse effects and or diseases linked to statin drugs, which is amazing. Because the FDA, requires now that there's a black label warning on, dementia and type 2 diabetes risk increasing. And people are like, oh, this is huge. But, technically, there are hundreds of adverse effects now signaled in the literature. So let's say you're a chiropractor and you have someone with rhabdomyolysis, which is a sort of autoimmune destruction of the muscles in the body, which is caused by statin drugs, and you click the 36 studies here and you want to send that to a colleague, hit download your PDF. We have produced literally over 100,000 of these focused research PDFs, so that you can basically download any of them, and all of the research will now be in this handy document that, again, provides a certain type of gravitas. So, this is not just some blog on GreenMed Info or any other site. This is all the research in a PDF, clearly from the National Library of Medicine, making it so easy, actually, for a researcher to say, okay, I want to look at these studies, and so they don't have to spend the 30 minutes or whatever it would take to collate them all together and get sort of a bird's eye perspective. And again, there are literally on this page, the permutations of focused PDF products is hundreds of just on the statin page, because you have, here's just myotoxicity focused research. Statin drugs cause muscle damage. That's what myotoxicity means. That's 80 abstracts just on this one topic. Share it on social media, through email, or download the specific PDF that we've already created for you. So this is a feature that is available to pro and power users that many don't even realize exist. But the idea is to make people aware, first of all, this research exists. You don't have to be a researcher. You could be a health enthusiast or consumer. But as long as you're pointing people in your life who you're giving the authority to help make decisions for you, like health practitioners, point them to GreenMed Info, show them that we have this database, let them know there's an alternative to WebMD, and hopefully everyone will be better off for it. So again, every page on GreenMed Info has this search bar. You go to the front page. I'm actually a pro user now, so as you can see, we have additional interface options here that are available. So you're sort of a pro user with a VIP cockpit, which gives you direct access to many of the different resources we've created. And of course, everybody gets to take advantage of this, as well as our databases, which aren't just accessible here, up in the search bar, but you can go to each specific index page to get a bird's eye view of what you're dealing with here. Let's say of the 1,689 substances, you're looking for a specific one, like green tea. This will pop it up that way. And again, actually, pro users get to download our entire database on all of these different topics. So, this is a pretty significant upgrade when it comes to what you're actually able to get as a user, is all these PDF files here on the right. And there's literally thousands of them we're making available. So our database is sort of like, you can break off a piece, you can send it around. That's the purpose, right? Disseminate as widely as possible this research. So anyway, I suggest anyone interested in becoming a member to support our mission to go to the membership plans section. And this will enable us to continue to provide support to our community without having any ads, because that was a big transition for us, is removing Google Ads, because we have a $40,000 bill just for our email hosting and hosting of our website alone. So any help that you can give us, I mean, even if it's just the $8 a month option, when you have 500 people paying that, then that goes a long way to help our website stay alive. So feel free to do that. And of course, thank you so much for your support. Like ultimately, we just want people to use our resource. We have something like 2 million page views plus every month still through organic traffic. We're not paying for the traffic. So we know that people are using this resource and we're super excited about that. And we are a freemium model, meaning we have created this database so that anybody can go into any section and access all of the abstracts. You don't have to be a member. You can share this far and wide. That has real value for us. So anyone can look through these abstracts. We just have created some additional tools for those who want to take it to the next level. And also, again, support us. So thank you, everyone, for being part of this movement. And we really hope that we get more support. But we are happy with you just sharing our work with friends and family and health practitioners, because that's really what's going to drive this paradigm forward. Thanks so much. Sayer G from GreenMed Info.